What up, everybody, and welcome to Baz on Blades. My name is Baz, and I talk about blades, and today I'm very excited to do the first ever Kansept Knives review here at Baz on Blades. You've gotten a sneak peek at this knife. What we've got here is the Kansept Knives Hazakura folder. This is a front flipper. We will talk about that later on in the video. This is going to be a pretty doggone positive review. In fact, it's going to be totally positive except for one thing, and that's just a personal preference thing. Kansept Knives. I did not know a lot about Kansept Knives, but I did do a deep dive and some research on the company, and apparently this company was started by three people. And that is 80s pop star Shaka Khan, Mongol leader Genghis Khan, and Ricardo Montalban, who played Khan in Star Trek. And with a lineup like that, there is no way this company could lose, and I think they've got a winner right here. Now, those people did not start this company. I believe that it was some people that left Kaiser Knives and started this company, but the other thing just sounded really super damn cool, so I said it, and there you go. So the Kansept Hazakura, this is it's an interesting knife for Baz on Blades in that it is a front flipper. It is the only front flipper I have in my personal collection, and it is a finely made knife. I would put this in the category of a premium budget knife, i.e. less than $100 or right around that point. And let's get that price out of the way. The price I paid, I got this knife from Justin at White Mountain Knives. I do most of my buying from Justin. He's always taking care of me. He's got the 10% discount for all of us knife enthusiasts. It's just a good place to do business. Again, I don't get anything from them. I have no hookup with them. I've never even spoken to Justin. I just like doing business there. And at White Mountain Knives, this knife is $107. Just slightly over the $100 price point, but with a 10% discount, you're looking at about $96. I think that is a decent deal for this knife once you consider the materials, the fit and finish, the action on it, a beautiful design. It is just a wonderful knife all around. So let's go ahead and knock out the numbers on this, the specs. The blade length, 3.5 inches or 9 centimeters. Blade stock thickness, 120 thousandths of an inch, about 3 millimeters. Your blade width is, 8/10 of an inch or 20.5 millimeters. Handle length, 4 5/8 inches or 11.5 centimeters. Your handle thickness, 440 thousandths of an inch or 11.2 millimeters. Handle width, 880 thousandths of an inch or 22.3 millimeters. The closed width is the absolute same as the open width on the handle because the blade fully nests. And let's see what we got here. Overall length, 8 1/4 inches, 20.5 centimeters. The stop pin diameter, it is a captured stop pin. I did not disassemble to measure the stop pin. I'm estimating just from my caliper eyes about 120 thousandths of an inch, about 3 millimeters, the same as the blade stock thickness. Behind the edge thickness on this narrow blade with not too tall of a grind is I got 27 thousandths of an inch. That's 0.7 millimeters. The handle to blade ratio, an excellent 0.76, and your weight, a light weight for its size, 2.75 ounces or 78 grams. That is well within that 1 ounce per inch of blade length. In fact, it blows that out of the water. Very easy to carry. So let's get into materials. This is where this knife starts to shine. For your blade steel, you've got 154 cm. Any of you guys that have been into knives long enough know that at one time, not too long ago, 154 cm was the premium stainless steel, and it is an excellent steel. I very much like seeing this steel trickling into these premium budget knives. 154 cm is basically a very much improved 440C. It's a high carbon, high chromium stainless steel with it has a much more complex alloying than 440C. Majority of that is to aid in machinability, grain structure. It's a joy of a blade steel for an EDC knife. You will typically see it rock weld in the 58 to 61 range. And at the upper end of its rock weld range, it makes for a very good slicing blade with very high wear resistance. At the lower end, you start getting into really good toughness or impact resistance, and across the board, it's got good corrosion resistance. I'm not joking. At one time, this was the darling steel of the knife world, and it is still an excellent blade steel. Going on into your handle, we've got carbon fiber. It is in this sort of marbled, crushed carbon fiber. It is solid carbon fiber. It is not a G10 carbon fiber laminate. You can see it has a milled titanium pocket clip, stainless small parts that are in a machined satin finish. It does have inletted liners. You can see this show side liner is weight relieved extensively. Again, very lightweight at 2.75 ounces or 78 grams, and that's 3.5 inches of blade length. Fantastic. 8 1/4 inches overall at less than 3 ounces of weight. And I have nothing negative to say about this knife. At this price point for materials, it is the materials very much fit the price point. Now, let's see, feature-wise here, of course, we've got this sort of Kwaiken type design, which I love. I love a Kwaiken type design. Satin finish on the blade. You got bead blast on your pocket clip. You've got a oval lanyard hole here, nice and big, no issue at all. You could get a couple of strands of paracord through there. G10 backspacer. I love everything about this knife, and we're going to roll from that into fit and finish, which is as good as you're going to get. I mean, everything about this knife is fantastic. I've got no issues at all with that. I mean, look at this blade, guys. You've got a nice, bright satin finish that has been lightly stonewashed, softly stonewashed. It's a very sort of glowing, soft, satiny look. It's just a beautiful, beautiful finish on that blade. The grinds are nice and even. Both primary and secondary grinds. The centered swedge here, which we will talk about, well done and even there. Your blade markings, the etchings are minimal, all small. They do not detract from the appearance at all. Like I say, the secondary edge, the secondary grind, the edge grind is very well done all the way out to the tip, which instantly catches and pierces with little to no pressure at all. This is a very stabby blade. Fit and finish on the handle is exemplary. This is the very soft, tactile. It's almost like the softness of a beautiful woman's skin. It is wonderful in the hand, wonderful appearance-wise. The machining is so well done on it. I can find zero issues as far as the fit and finish of the handle itself. Bead blast, like I said, on this milled titanium pocket clip, which is sort of a minimalist look. It's not too big, it's not too small, it's not overwhelming on the knife. Nice and balanced. It is very functional. Speaking of functional, you've got a length of jimping here that it's actually very functional too. Let's get some pressure on it, and then you can look and see what the jimping looks like on my thumb there. It's just fit and finish is just so good on this knife. No issues there, and not really a lot to talk about other than saying that it's so good. I mean, I can very much see Genghis Khan's influence here, because he was known as a fine, very refined man in the, the 10th century, I believe. So, fit and finish, no issues there. Very good. Again, we're talking about a knife slightly under $100 with 154 cm blade steel, solid carbon fiber. Oh, I didn't say it is on a ball bearing pivot. It does feature ceramic bearings for the pivot and a ceramic detent ball. Yeah, no issues there. The only improvement I would like to see in materials at all would be a step up in socket size on the hardware. The hardware feels fine. I have disassembled this knife, zero issues there. It is a T8 pivot, T6 for your other screws. I would like to see that at least in T8 overall, maybe a T10 for the pivot, T8 for the small hardware. That's an improvement that Kansept and majority of other manufacturers could make. Other than that, zero issues at all. Now, let's go and talk about action. Again, it is on ceramic bearings. It is butter smooth. I mean, it is butter smooth. It is easy to operate for a front flipper, and this is the one issue I have with this knife, and that is it is a front flipper. Now, that is neither good nor bad. It is a personal preference. I cannot stand front flippers. Even though I love this design, you may love front flippers. Let me tell you a little bit about people that love front flippers. I want you to think. You are driving down the road in your car, and you pull up to a stop sign, a red light, and you look over at the car next to you, and the person driving that car is second knuckle deep picking a booger out of their nose. We've all seen it. Now, they pull this big juicy booger out. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? What are they going to do? The person that sticks that booger in their mouth is probably a front flipper lover. Probably. That's just the kind of people they are. Now, you are asking, Baz on Blades, what about the person that wiped the booger off on their pants? Well, those are the guys that think Spyderco's compression lock is the best lock in the business. So, kidding aside, I'm just not a fan of front flippers, although you can see I very easily can manipulate this knife. It's very well made. I even, you know what, it's the mechanics of front flippers I don't care for. It just feels super awkward to me. But I've got to admit that the look of this knife closed with this front flipper tab sticking off there, it's sort of cool looking to me. Some people may not like that look, but I actually sort of like that. you know, it's different. It makes a knife look different. And on this fairly modern, traditional Kwaiken look, it sort of stands out to me a little bit. So, you know what? I'm happy to have this knife in my collection. It may be the only front flipper I ever own, but I'm going to tell you right now, the way the action is on this, the way the build is on this, everything, the design, it is a fine. If you're only going to have one front flipper in your collection and you like Kwaikens, you're not going to do much better than this, in my opinion, at anywhere near approaching the price. Now, continuing on with action, like I say, it's butter smooth, guys. There is zero play in the lock anywhere. You can see your lockup right here. Nice lock engagement. Centering when it's closed. It's right down the center if the aspect ratio shows that there. There's just, the action is just as well done as the fit and finish is. Just this knife is overall, it is so very, very good. Now, let's go on to ergonomics and utilitarian usage. Now, in the blade, we've got sort of this upswept, moderately upswept, nice and pointy, lots of belly here, sort of traditional tan-toe-y type of blade. Not upswept enough to be, you know, called a trailing point really, although the tip is pretty doggone high in relationship to this line at the back of the handle and the back of the blade. I still wouldn't call it a trailing point, although there is a little bit of influence there. It's a fairly high tip. Like I say, you've got plenty of belly here, nice wide open belly, perfect cutting blade, nice straight edge here. Again, this knife is 27 thousandths behind the edge, and that may seem thick behind the edge to some people, because in the last couple of years we have seen knives that are down around 11, 12 thousandths of an inch, and not just a couple of knives. I've reviewed multiple knives that were in the 10 thousandths to 15 thousandths behind the edge thickness, and they're very, very slicey. This knife is an aggressive cutter, but it is a cutter. It's not a super slicer, I don't think. And the reason you have that is when you do your primary grind on a blade, that is the grind that nets you your behind the edge thickness. You have the width of the blade to work with against the thickness of the blade stock, the height of your grind. The higher the grind is, the thinner it can be behind the edge. But going for whatever aesthetic design within the grind parameters, this has a shorter grind on a narrow blade. And that's the reason that behind the edge thickness is like that. If this blade of the same design was a 1/4 of an inch wider with a grind that was a 1/4 of an inch taller, and it still was in 120 thousandths blade stock thickness, it would be thinner behind the edge. That is where you come into that. It is just the geometry of the grinds on your knives. Again, it's not good or bad. It's just what it is. It is a cutter and not really a turbo slicer. And that really, if you ever go for any type of knife that's got a blade width less than an inch, of any moderate to thick blade stock thickness, you're going to see higher behind the edge thicknesses like that. You should know that going in, especially on shorter grinds. So as far as being a cutter, like I say, it's got a super aggressive point, beautiful belly here, plenty of space here for up close detail cutting on the flat portion of the edge grind. It's a wonderful working blade design. Now, that said, This knife has got an overall sort of gentleman's aesthetic to it. I'm not going to be taking this less than 3-ounce knife out and chopping down a tree with it. I'm not going to be stabbing it through car doors. I'm not going to be out, knife fighting to the death out on the streets with it. This is, in my opinion, a gentleman's carry. You're going out for a night on the town. You're dressed up. You're going to a wedding. You're going to whatever. This is a beautiful knife to carry that gives you full size at low weight with a more sort of refined upper class look to it. Now, let's go into the handle, and we're going to talk about the ergonomics of the handle, and they are excellent. It is a radially machined handle. It is not totally flat. It is radially machined. It's narrow. It is not super thick. The pocket clip is... I can feel the pocket clip there, okay? That said, it is extremely comfortable with 0 hot spots, no matter how I move my hand or grip the knife. It's just a flat plane. The tip here is nicely radiused. It's got this nice soft bead blast finish on it. What can you say about a pocket clip other than, it looks okay, it feels okay, it works okay, and this one is all of that, even in the hand, guys. It just, I can tell it's there, but as far as comfort, it just sort of disappears. It's a total non-issue at all, guys. And again, it works fantastic. It looks great on the knife. And again, $100, you got a milled titanium pocket clip. Fantastic. So, wide open handle design. You don't have any wanky, bunch of finger choils up here or any crazy sculpting. This knife lets the profile speak for the design. It is a very simple profile, but you can look at it here. There is such flow from the tip of the blade to the butt end of the handle. The design flows so well. The choice of materials in this, the radial machining of the handle scales, just everything about it just falls into that sort of wide open. It's very easy. It's just, no matter how you hold it, guys, it's just, look at that nice little thumb stop on the back of it for a reverse grip. It's just a wonderful design. Now, am I going to be stabby into hard stuff with it? No, it's not a tactical knife. It doesn't have a finger choil that I require on a stabby knife. In my opinion, you must have a functional finger choil on anything you're going to be stabbing with. That's just the way it is. But beyond that, I think it's very much a very ergonomic handle design, a very utilitarian blade design. So, Kansept Knives. I'm very much impressed with this knife. I ordered this knife without ever handling a Kansept knife. I got it in. I knew immediately I would be buying other Kansept knives, and I have already bought 2 other Kansept knives that will be coming up for review, and maybe a giveaway. So be looking for that. I think when you buy a knife, the first of a brand that you have owned, and before I can even get to a review, I've bought multiple others of the brand. That says a lot. Bazon Blades, along with all the other knife reviewers, I've handled so many knives at so many price points. I've owned so many knives at so many price points, so many custom knives. at extremely high price points. And I'm going to tell you, for what you've got here, what the price is, this is as good a knife as I have seen in a long time. Love or hate the front flipper design. It is well executed here. Everything about the knife is well executed. Fantastic materials for the price point. I don't think that there's any way that you could lose with this knife. Now, there are other iterations of this knife. Black finish blades, micarta or G10 handle scales at a slightly lower price point, all of them featuring 154 cm for the blade steel and milled titanium pocket clips. There is one that is in black hardware and blade with brown micarta that is wonderful looking, guys. It is wonderful looking. I may have to get one of those myself. So, the Kansept Knives Hazakura, what can I say other than what I've said? It is going to be highly recommended by Bazon Blades. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch one of my videos. God bless all of you, and we will talk to you again.